and welcome to Realty Coffee Talk on Awaz Entertainment in Canada, around the world. My name is Tahir Qureshi. I'm a fellow of Law Institute of Canada, broker of record for City Pro Realty Inc. brokerage. Tonight, we're going to talk about how interest rate affects real estate. Bank of Canada has increased interest rate 50 basis point. Now, the benchmark or prime rate that all banks are using has increased from 5.95 to 6.45. If you remember, in the beginning of the year, we had our rate, variable rate was 2.45. And you assume that you borrowed 200,000 at that time. Now, that rate has increased to gradually 4% to 6.45. So if you are paying $500 at that time, now you will be paying $2,000 for the same amount that you borrow in January. If you are qualified to get a mortgage prior to the new rate, let's assume you qualify based on using the OFSI rules or stress test. You qualify for $1 million. With half a point increase, your threshold to buy a property now reduced to $900,000. And similarly, if anyone was before qualified for a lower amount, is going to go further lower amount. It's all based on the amount that you borrow. The problem that I see is that many of those home buyers who bought the property on a variable rates, and they now have to pay more than the double amount because of variable increase. Like I said, I used to pay 2.45. Now I'm paying 6.45, 4% more. So stress test was for 2%. This is 4, is double the stress test. So nobody predicted that is going to happen because of inflation. How this is affecting the inflation? Inflation is still at 7% approximately. Is this a good logic for the government to keep increasing the interest rate and bleed to death people who can't afford it? They're going to be losing their shelter for the family. We're going to have a different type of crisis coming up. Why not government generate production capacity increases so there's a more demand and supply, so supply can meet the demand, whichever can be controlled within Canada. During this pandemic, government of Canada has given lots of money to people, which is a great idea. Lot of cash to the companies and loans, and people are giving back. That's a good idea. But you also have to look at the interest, how much it has stimulated the economy. If your production capacity demand cannot meet the supply cannot meet the demand, and this problem is going to continue. So focus is to increase the production, diversify and investment infrastructure projects where it generates the revenue, it can create job opportunities. There's a lot of good effort being done by the government to build 1.5 million houses in the next 10 years. We can commend that the provincial government for taking strong initiative, never seen by any other province in Canada. We appreciate that. But our economy is entire Canada. People are moving back and forth. Now, majority of the people who want they have a growing family, they were expanding, they have to move out from the big city to the small cities. I think it's a good idea because you are able to buy a property. I have lots of builders are sending us proposals, apartments, condo, townhome, and detached home available. So idea is if your job has changed, if you are able to transform your job or your office allows you to work remotely, because lots of Canadian who have taken job out of Toronto, for example, and they can do remotely, they're not going back. Office is renting the space to other people, and they still can work. And I have a few clients of our own. They moved away from Toronto, and they love it because they were living in a condominium. Now they're living in a detached home, and price of a detached home has increased as well. So why not to move to a smaller city? There are a lot of opportunities to buy a home, condo, townhomes, Sami. If you want to get the more information, call me. My number is 416-451-3489. We always get lots of builder invite to sell their property before even they build it. So we are dealing with the pre-construction, pre-sold construction, as well as resale. So think about moving away. Yes, you're going to have some issue with the logistic, whether you're using a Go or you're using a transit or you're using a car, or you can pool the car, because cost away from the job, come and go by the transportation is, let's say, 1 hour coming and 1 hour going. That's the time spent, and if depending on the what mode of transportation you're using, is going to cost you money. So you need to think about that. If you are paying $300,000-400,000 more for the house, and you're not going to get what you want in the big city, you can move to the smaller town, and you can budget it this cost, particularly for those who can remotely work, particularly IT people. They can work remotely, and management, even the bank employee, lots of them remotely. They provide support to the and logistic to the banks. So it's very, very important to look at your job, look at your budget, look at your needs. If your family is growing and you need a more space, backyard is good and healthy for kids to go out and play. They don't enjoy that life in a condominium because it's a common area, number two, and it doesn't give you fresh air. You need to go out. So it's a good idea to move away if you have a growing family. And then you can come back later on when, at the retirement age if you want that. But it's very important to create your budget. So now mortgage rates has gone up. Now, and I'm going to share with you the November report. Unbelievable. And I'm going to share with you the details. I posted on LinkedIn and Instagram and YouTube, and also on TikTok, and by report about my Realty news flash for November 22. It was published on December 6th. You could go and see them. If you're a subscriber, follow me on LinkedIn and or YouTube or Instagram. You will see those reports that I have shared. I'm going to share some of the summary with you after we're finishing with conversation about the financing. How difficult it is now. If your cost has increased, depending on the mortgage, if you have bought a big house, two things I suggest to my clients. Sometimes you have to make a tough decision. If you have a property, you have built a reasonable equity in it, and you think that you can survive, you have a line of credit, you can draw the money, and you can survive the next 12 to 18 months, then you hang in there. But if you have a limited equity, and you can see the pricing going up, we're going to talk about that too. We did have an increase from 21 to 22, but there was a decline in 22 February to November this year. So we're going to talk about that as we explain this interest rate. So now, if you can afford it, you stay in it, time will go past, and you will manage it. Only thing you have to do is to cut down your travel, stop buying a new car, any expense that you can avoid it, and you can go through this difficult time and you survive. Now, sometimes it's happened in life that kids are going higher education, you don't have a good cash flow, job timing is a little bit difficult sometime, and you might have to relocate or something. Think about this. If the appreciation is happening to the property that you are living, let's assume you own a property and it has gradually increased 5% a year. I'm just giving you an example of that. And it costs you at the end of the year about $25,000 to maintain your property, live in there. If you divide that over rental, if same property that you have bought it, if you rented it, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom detached homes are over $3,000 in Mississauga. So you can see that there is a rent versus the carrying the house is cheaper. But important thing is my house appreciating or not? If it's costing you $25,000 after everything is done from your pocket, and appreciation is only $10,000, so that means that year you're going to lose $15,000. Some bigger houses will cost you more. It may cost you $50,000 to live in that house, but appreciation could be $15,000, so you're losing $35,000 from your pocket or equity because the prices are declining. When you see that trend and you sit down and talk to me or somebody else and say, this is my house, this is my carrying cost, my income is shrinking, my cost carrying is becoming a little heavy on me, and especially if there's an interest rate on your line of credit. You may have a fixed mortgage, but you also have a line of credit. We always use that to support our kids or, buy things for the family. And we use that, and sometimes it accumulates because we know that we have equity in the house, but with this decline, the equity go down. So you have to see, if you predict based on the information available to you through one of us, that you're going to be losing $35,000 to $40,000 for the next 2 years. That's $80,000. Do you have enough equity in your house? Because lots of people during pandemic have withdrawn the equity, increased the line of credit to draw the money to use for it. Now they're caught now. How can they maintain it? There is not much equity. Most banks, up to $1 million purchase value or assessed value of property, they give you 80% for the first million. Then you go above 1 million. I know one of my lender, because I'm a principal broker of Canada Express Mortgage, license number 13241. One lender give up to 80%, up to $2 million, depending on other thing. Normally is 80%. So then the balance, normally you get 50%. So if let's assume price of your home is $2 million, they give you $80,000 for the first, they give you half a million for the second million. So basically you get 1.3 million, and they will put a charge up to $2 million on the property because they don't want you to borrow money privately from here and there. Now, so once you have exhausted this and you calculated this value that it's going to cost you more, and you think your situation will change, you may have a job location, you may retire in the near future, and your mortgage is getting close to expiry date. And you think about that. Why don't I sell it now and then I take the money and move away or downsize? And also to save your equity, because if it's declining equity, you're losing it. Anytime you sell it, it's going to take away from you, because the bank say, okay, agreement of purchase and sale, you're going to negotiate, someone to give you offer, the amount, and you say, okay, well, I want to sell it. So you may end up selling for less. So whatever you sell, if there's any mortgage or line of credit, it will be paid off. And if there is a balance on the mortgage and you have terminated it before time, you might have to pay three interest payment if it's a variable, particularly in variable. Fixed is very different, because they will have a differential rate difference. And there is a formula to how to calculate that. So it's going to cost you more. But selling is that you save your equity, and then you can hang on to it and you can buy it somewhere else, and you don't lose it until you find a job or things will happen better for you, and you save that equity instead of losing it. Because when you default on payment, it will reflect on your credit bureau. Recently, I was helping a client, very prominent client, and because of pandemic, they don't get a chance to pay the bills because they are in medical field, an emergency in pandemic. So small, $30, $40, $50. These utility company, they will put you through collection. They will put a charge on you. So, and that will show bad credit on your credit bureau. And if you want, even you are making $1 million income, it still reflects your credibility, whether they will lend you money or not. And this is why it's very important to watch that, especially if you are making any arrangement with the bank to negotiate an interest rate. Please make sure everything is confirmed before you slip it, because the moment you slip one payment, it get on your record. And make sure you talk to your lender and tell them this is a situation. What is the best solution for me? Can I borrow more money? Because interest rate has gone up, even though Bank of Canada or OFSI rule talk about 5.25 as a benchmark, but if there is a contract rate, if the bank give you contract rate of, let's say, 5% or 5.25, they need to add 2% more stress test. So it will be based on 7.25 to determine how much value of the house you can buy. And this is becoming, the more higher interest rate goes, criteria goes higher. There's two ways. Is 5.25, the benchmark test, or contractual rate that is given by bank. Sometimes they give you discount and they add 2% on top of that as a stress test. I think this is ridiculous. They should eliminate the stress test. What they have done to the interest rate now, there is no need for stress test. People still can qualify and buy something reasonable. They need to eliminate it to make more affordability for Canadians to buy the home. And this is one of the things that I am, if any member of parliament is listening, please speak, be our voice. Talk to the OFSI and cut down this stress test. Economy has already impacted now. There are 35% income generated through real estate is now down, very significantly down. I'm going to share figures with you shortly, and you can see that job, lawyer has less job, realtor has less job, appraiser less job, virtual tour photographer has less job, inspection, maintenance, everybody has less and less work. Their income is going down, is going to affect them in 2023 when they need a mortgage. So it's affecting the real estate sector, the entire industry who are connected with real estate. They are affected. Lawyers, accountant, everybody is affected. Therefore, I think it's time for government to think about the strategy. What works, what doesn't work. Make effort, allocate more land, give them resources, give them loan to build it and charge them interest on it. And let them borrow money from you. And you make money. And we have a more housing. And also, we have a 500,000 immigrant will be coming this year or next year. How are you going to afford the housing for them? How are you going to lower the affordability? Ontario government is making effort, but they don't grow houses in one day. They are planned, approved, and processed, go through construction, approval process, subdivision, blah, 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 and building. It takes about 2.5 to 3 years to build a subdivision of a couple of hundred houses. So and then you build the houses by adding. Now, most important thing, the government of Canada has passed a law that starting from January 1st, no more sale to foreign buyer or non-residents. They have banned it for 2 years. How much effect is going to have? Influx of foreign investment in Canada is going to be blocked for 2 years. Who will take advantage of that? Europe, USA, and other countries. Canadians are investing billions of dollars out of Canada because there are not opportunities here. And especially for tax purposes, some may be declaring themselves non-residents for tax purposes. Therefore, if they buy anything here, 25% speculation tax in the province of Ontario, plus penalties for keeping it vacant. So these are hindrance, blockage to the freedom of buying and selling real estate. If you put restriction on it, how much is helping the affordability of the home buyers in Canada? Not much. In fact, we are losing business out of Canada because people are not investing in Canada. And this is why they have to think about strategy. And I think I asked the government of Canada to talk to Real Estate Institute of Canada. We are leaders in real estate, mentor, educator. We can give you some guidance. We have very prominent personality. Real Estate Institute of Canada is a institution. It's not organized real estate institution that guide and mentor real estate professionals. I'm a fellow of Real Estate Institute of Canada. Also, I'm director of REIC Toronto chapter for almost 6 years now. We can help. We can guide. We have lots of senior professional, over 50 years of experience. They can help and guide, develop a policy that benefit real estate industry across Canada. You are watching Realty Coffee Talk on Awaaz Entertainment, and we're going to take a short break, and we'll come back, and we continue. I'll give you an update about what happened in real estate in the month of November. Good evening, and welcome to Realty Coffee Talk on Awaaz Entertainment. My name is Tahir. I'm a fellow of Real Estate Institute of Canada, broker record for City Pro Realty and Brokerage, and your host of Realty Coffee Talk on Awaaz Entertainment. Now we're going to talk about market condition in 2022, end of 30 November. So I put out my monthly Realty News Flash. It was published on December 6th on LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And if you like to know everything, what's happening, please visit realtycoffeetalk.com or follow me on LinkedIn. So, sold data from TREB, Toronto Regional Real Estate Board, Market Watch, reported that an average price in February was $1,334,066 in February this year. And after that, it has declined by $254,671 by end of November 2022 at $1,079,395. And please note that this is an average price based on number of transactions happening through TREB. There are other MLS systems like ITSO has a 2021 board. They have their own data. There's a possible that 5 to 10% of those data is not included in this data. But this is the largest board in the world, which having almost close to 65, 70,000 members. So this is pretty fairly accurate. Now, the active listing in the market for November was increased to 95.7% by the end of November 2022. It increased from 68.1% in October 22. So you can see that the listing, new listing, active listing are increased because they're not selling. And now in 2022, we have about 8,979 transactions. And this year in November, we have 4,544, a minus 49.4% from last November to this November. Okay, almost 50%. So we are expecting the projection. I'll give you projection. Let me go through it. New listing, we are down 11.6%. So we have a less listing in November as compared to last November 21. But active listing, like I said, 95.7% active listing. An average price from last November 21, average price was 1,162,564, and now is 1,079,395. So it has declined 7.2% from last November to this November. But if you looking at the high price based on what was increased or decreased, I'm going to show you average price towards end of the program. Now, overall, year to date, 22, 75,058 transaction was reported by TRAB, as compared to 121,639 for 2021. So 11 months, we were only sold 72,058. Now, I predict you're going to have a minus 40% of the sale what we have in last year. We still have one more month to go. Now, the average price of the home in 2022 has increased because average price at the end of the year was $1,093,333 for 2021 based on 121,000 transactions. Based on 11-month transaction, our average price is $1,195,945 in November 22. We still have one more month to go with a net gain of $100,620 so far. So that means 1 month has to be added for December, then we have the whole projection. So why we are expecting this decline, I'll tell you right now. And let's go back. The list day on the market is increased 69.2%, so it's staying longer in the market. And also, average property day on the market is 83.3%. So it has increased from 18 to 33 days. Now, let's go back. And before we're going to go back and talk about the interest rate that is increased by Bank of Canada on December 7, we're going to talk about a few more minutes. So let's talk about that, the transaction, and we're going to talk about real estate properties. Detached home average price in 41905 is 1.3229 and 416 is 1.56. The semi-detached 416 is 1,187,016 and 905 is 924,080. And townhome is 995,074 and 905 872,014. And condo price is 734 797 in 416 and 648 332 in 905 area. So if you look at this sale, the market watch from TRAP, your detached home, I'm talking about transaction, 46.4% in 416-905 area. Semi 40 minus 40.7%. Townhome 46.4%. And condo apartment minus 54.9. That is minus transaction. Now let's look at the average price. So I'm going to talk about 416 and 905, but I'm going to combine them. So detached home has a minus average price of 11.3% across GTA. Semi minus 13.9, townhome minus 6.4, and condo minus 0.9. So this is the first month in 2022 where all transaction and the sale average price has gone down. Now, I do not believe we're going to have a glooming December, because it's going to be more difficult, because now Bank of Canada has increased the interest rate 50 basis point now to 4.25, and 4% increases in 2022. And now your prime rate is 6.45. This year, I remember, on my line of credit, I was paying 2.45. Now is 6.45. So cost has gone up. So I'm very positive that this next year we're going to have a mixed situation. You're going to may have a slight increase or no increases, and it all depends how inflation is there. We expect some more initiative from the government. Federal government makes a lot of suggestions, send a lot of emails to your member of parliament and MPPs. Tell them why we're suffering, especially in real estate. This is affecting all of us. Now, if your variable rate is now 6.45, if you want to take a chance, definitely we'll expect that in 2024 the price rate will decline. How much we don't know, is all depend on the inflation. But they're predicting, the Bank of Canada predicting that inflation should come back to 3% end of 23, and maybe 2%, which is normal in 2024. But how it evolves depends on the government effort, initiative, employment, growth, supply, and demand issues. The more immigrants are coming, there's going to be a lot of pressure. So one thing you have to remember, there is a trigger point in all the variable mortgages. You know, when you are paying a mortgage, there is a principal, there's an interest. When your interest rate goes up, your contribution toward interest will go up. Therefore, your payment that you agreed to pay on a monthly basis will not be sufficient to cover even the interest payment. So they will demand you to pay more money down to bring it down to a level that is acceptable. So you need to talk to your mortgage agent or broker or lender to see, have you triggered the interest rate a point where you will be demanded by the lender to pay you more, because your payment that you are making is not sufficient to cover the interest. Remember, I said it was 2.45 in January and February, and it started going up. Now it's 6.45, 4% more. So it's double, triple. Therefore, you will be paying more money, and think seriously, can you afford it? This is very, very important. If you have any special case you need advice, go to give me a call. My number is 416-451-3489. I'm a licensed principal broker of Canada Express Mortgage, license number 13241, and also I'm a broker of record for City Pro Realty Inc. brokerage. We are one shop solution. We can provide you financing. We can provide you mortgage solution. We have an alternate lending where we can accommodate alternate lending. There are some exceptions, and you give us a call and tell us and fill out the application, and you can go to express-mortgage.ca to fill out the application, send it to us, and then we'll review it and we talk about it and see what are the options. Because there's two rules as a mortgage broker agent. We need to look at the know your client. We need to know everything about you so we know that what offer we can recommend. And know your product means when we know your needs and we have determined you can afford it and you qualify, and we also going to find a suitable product that meet your ability to pay mortgage without getting defaults or getting a default on payment, and you can afford it. So you are watching Realty Coffee Talk on Avaz Entertainment. If you ever want to watch all the episode, I have them all together on realtycoffeetalk.com. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel or follow me on LinkedIn, Instagram, or TikTok, or Tumblr. I am everywhere to share the knowledge and spread the message to all of you to learn about real estate before buying and selling real estate. Thank you for watching Realty Coffee Talk on Avaz Entertainment. We'll see you next Thursday at 7 p.m. Bye for now. Thank you. Bye for now.